Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the final iteration of Season 15 of League 1 NCAA football. It is bowl season, and tonight we're going to kick off our doubleheader with the BCS National Championship game between the number 2 Northwestern Wildcats and the number 1 Syracuse Orange. We'll follow up later this evening with Navy in the New Mexico Bowl against Penn State. But first, we've got Coach Spectre here in the broadcast booth to give us a bit of a pregame chat before we kick off the national championship game. Coach, how are you feeling tonight?
Feeling good. Got those pregame jitters, a little bit of nervousness, a little bit of butterflies in the stomach. But I think anybody who's played any game in League 1 can commiserate with that.
Indeed. Now, Syracuse has a chance to become the 4th school in League 1 history to win back-to-back national championships. Auburn did it in seasons 2 and 3, Notre Dame in 4 and 5, and then Washington State in 9 and 10. No one's ever won 3 in a row. Can you talk about sort of what this means to your program?
Well, obviously it's great to be in this position. I think any coach of any team and any team would love to be playing for any national championship. You got a target on your back all season when you're the defending national champ, so it's always hard to get back. We're definitely happy to be back. And we're facing a heck of an opponent in Northwestern, probably better than we did last year, a better opponent than we faced last year. So, I think it's going to be a challenging game. You don't get to 3 in a row without winning 2 in a row, and those are lofty goals, and those are in the distant future. Right now we have one game to win, and we're going to try to win it one play at a time. Speaking
of having a target on your back, for you as a coach, this is potentially your 10th title. So that's a really big number. That's a full, potentially a third of seasons in the league. But more than that, that's a massive target that's been on your back for a very long time. Given that you are the man to beat, how do you stay ahead of that, season to season, and what can other coaches, other teams learn from your ability to consistently perform at the highest level?
Well, I think anybody who's talked to me before any game can attest to this. We go into, no matter where we are as a program or at any particular location, we go into any game against any team thinking that we could lose the game, and we're nervous about every game, and we prepare for every game. We do the pregame work that's necessary, whether it's scouting the depth chart or going into practice mode or tinkering with the playbook. We are, I suppose, consistently paranoid. Billy Martin, the longtime manager of the New York Yankees, was so paranoid that he came up with all sorts of ways that his team could lose and then used those strategies to win games. Now, I can't say that we're particularly sneaky, but we are by the book, and I think that's been a part of our success is that we approach every game like we could lose it. I think as far as having the target on the back, it's motivation, and I think yes, we've won a whole bunch, but keep in mind that 6 of those came in the first 6 seasons of League 1. Some of them on lower difficulty levels, some of them with less restrictions in recruiting. It was a different ball game back then, and since season 6, it's been a real challenge to get to the finish line each year, and that makes you appreciate it that much more. I think any coach would easily agree that the losses sting, but they do make the victories that much sweeter.
Let's talk about this game tonight. Northwestern was number 1 for most of the season, and they have won resoundingly against a number of users in the past, including Indiana this year, and they also beat an outstanding Stanford team 45-10. What about Northwestern makes them so good, and how can they win this game? How can they beat Syracuse?
Well, it starts with a look at the coaching staff. If you're looking at Northwestern's coaching staff, they've got a coach who's almost completely stacked in game management. Has the big game perk that will come into play in the bowl game. Has the fire perk for the timeouts. Has the fourth quarter clutch perk for being within 14 or less. They'll play on fire in the fourth quarter and overtime. Has the full penalty perk. Has the full setup perk. The quarterback will be calmed down. We cannot ice the kicker. They're stacked on game management. And then the coordinators are perfect on defense, 27 out of 27. They will essentially add 3 points to every single defensive player. We'll get into the roster here in a minute, but all of their good players become great. All of their great players become outstanding on defense. On offense, almost the same. They're missing 3 points in the very top rung and perfect otherwise. So this is about as good as it gets for adding ability to the roster. Now, that roster for Northwestern, very deserving of the mantle during most of the season of number one. They do have a couple of injuries we're going to look at here. The halfback, the starting halfback, is one of the players who is out, along with the starting left tackle. Who's out for the season, an 89, and the halfback is a 98. Now, under most circumstances, that would be a significant hit. It is still, a very large hit for Northwestern. Anytime you lose a 98, it's a pretty big hit. So, looking at their depth chart, what they bring to the table, and of course, keeping in mind that with those coaching perks, they're going to go up by about 3 points. If we're looking at Northwestern's depth chart, this quarterback was hurt for much of the season, and he is back now. The backup leading this offense played so well that he was able to finish second in Quarterback of the Year in the Davey O'Brien Award. So you imagine a player who's slightly more talented than he is will perform even better, or at least equally as well, coming into this game. Not his first game back, although he's not on a hot streak. He won't be coming in completely cold. That halfback, like we said, out with an injury. The backup is an 87, blindingly quick, or at least blindingly fast. Not quite as strong and maybe not quite as durable as the normal Northwestern starting halfback, but still a pretty good 87 senior nonetheless. The fullback is a 75, true freshman, good player, but they do not use him that much. They're a spread team. They love to throw the ball. And if we're talking about what makes Northwestern dangerous, you're talking about a team with a really good quarterback that loves to throw the ball, throwing to these top three wide receivers. Lee's, finishing second in the Bolitnikoff Award, is a 94 overall receiver with 99 speed. And James, on the other side of the field, with 97 speed. They are going to have the ability to get behind the defense, including Syracuse's defense. They've done it all year. You look, you mentioned the loss that they gave Stanford in Stanford. Stanford having one of the best rosters in the game this season, and Northwestern put 45 points on them. And I'm sure these receivers had a big part to play. A 94-91, probably playing equivalent to a 96 or 97, and a 93 or 4 with a 94 in the slot. So the tight end, they don't use that much. He's great if they do. He's on a hot streak, likely due to blocking proficiencies. There's the tackle who's out. The backup is an 82. Not a huge hit because, again, he'll be up by 3 points. He'll be an 85. But it does cost them a little bit in depth. The rest of the line just keeps getting better. A senior 89 left guard, a junior 87 center, and then the strength of their offensive line, Urban, the right guard, a senior 91, as well as Vogel, the right tackle, a senior 94, were both first-team all-NCAA selections. Northwestern's right guard and right tackle will be playing as if they're a 94 and a 96 or 7, and they are phenomenal. They are the perfect recipe for the scheme that Syracuse likes to run on defense. Covering that right guard and right tackle position is going to be crucial for Northwestern being able to move the ball. On the other side of the ball, they have an excellent defense. They've got an 88 who will be a 91 left end, as well as a 99 right end. Sam Dutt-Miller, the player to watch on the Northwestern Wildcats defensive line, the 99 right end, going to be a threat. He'll be playing even better. He's super smart. He has all the moves in the world, and he is by far no slouch. Defensive tackles, Saunders and Hampton, again, they'll be playing up a little bit, and they're more than adequate. Potentially a three-man front, but if they do run a four-man front, then Hampton's adequate as long as he doesn't get tired, and Gooden has to come in from the defensive end position. The linebacking core, the strength of the defense. So that 5 to 10 yard zone going to be well patrolled. That's going to cause problems for Syracuse all day. Gallagher, a 93 senior left outside linebacker. Fisher, a 93 senior middle linebacker. And then Django Glacken, an all-NCAA selection and a contender for the best linebacker award, a 92 senior right outside linebacker, the playmaker of the defense. Secondary-wise, Campbell is loaded with speed, as is Willock. Willock appearing on some all-conference teams and making some noise in some of the awards, in fact, as a free safety more often than not, but does play their nickel corner. Bullock, if you want to call him the weak point of the secondary, is only an 83. He'll be an 85. And, of course, that 94 awareness will make him play out of his skin. Pace, the free safety, an 89, is the starter, a senior again, with 96 awareness, as well as Burton, the 81 strong safety, potentially another weak spot if you want to call it. You're talking about a defense where the weak spots are players who might be only an 84 and 85. Much of the rest of the defense is going to be 92 plus. You've got plenty of studs throughout, and maybe 8 of the positions on defense. And then, of course, as we said, offensively, that wide receiver core just absolutely loaded with speed. So, what can Northwestern do to beat Syracuse? Well, they can continue to play the way they've been playing, which is to say a top 3 passing attack, a high-powered offense, and a defense that makes plays, gets turnovers, and holds opponents to less than 40 points, less than 30 points for sure. Coming into the game, our lowest point total of the season has been 42. I think if we score 42, we've got an excellent chance to win. But I'll tell you this, I wouldn't put it past Northwestern to put up 40 of their own. So we're expecting a heck of a ball game. We're quite nervous about this, and we're going to do the best that we can to not turn the ball over and to use the clock to our advantage. If it's a 50-50 situation, I think that's where the game can be won, is to use the clock. So, that's how Northwestern can beat Syracuse, and that's how Syracuse is going to have to defend against it. We're going to get this game underway in about 60 seconds once we get all of our pregame festivities ordained and we are ready for kickoff. We thank you for joining us here for an exciting bowl doubleheader here in League 1 action in Season 15.
On the one hand, I don't quite believe you, Leon, mainly because I do not believe that such a thing as leftover pancakes has ever existed. But about this game tonight, as you can see, some of the stats here for the season for Northwestern and Syracuse. A very important one. Both teams there, you see at the bottom, are well positive in turnover differential. Syracuse +8, number 14 in the country, but Northwestern number 1 in the country with +19. That's a stat that wins you games. Period. Full stop. As is the number 1 passing offense in the country at 412.2 yards a game. Total defense is also very good. It's really only rushing offense, total offense, and rushing defense where Syracuse in this season outpaces Northwestern, and that's a reason why, as you can see, there's a reasonable amount of money being placed on the number 2 team here in the national championship game. Let's take a quick look. As you can see, Syracuse with a dominant offensive performance in, as Coach mentioned, lowest score was 42 points against ECU to begin the season, and with a high mark of 83 against Duke. But even 10-2 App State is an important marquee win, as is 11-2 UVA. So overall, an impressive performance, but as is the 13-0 performance out of Northwestern. They've scored, their lowest score themselves appears to be 27 against a 7-5 Nebraska team, but also they won against a 10-2 Stanford team by 35 points, and a lot of dominant games against the likes of Rutgers and 8-4 Minnesota. So tremendous performance so far this season from both teams, and important reasons why players like Tommy Tanuvasa and James Lofton and Cox and Brown and Lees have had award-winning performances and winning records. And with that, it's time to kick off the national championship game between the number 1 Syracuse Orange and the number 2 Northwestern Wildcats. Tanuvasa, Lofton, and Metcalf, you see there the top 3 for the Orange, up against Means, James, and Cox. Interesting that, I guess because of those stats, they're putting Cox, the number 2 quarterback, in there as a top player for good reason. That's an excellent performance through the games that he's been in. Meyer and Larkin, as we mentioned, out for this game.
Glad to have you with us in the studio. I'm Reese Davis, bringing you the EA Sports NCAA Football 14 pregame show presented by Nissan. Innovation that excites. There has been hype. There has been talk. There has been anticipation. It is time for all of those things to end. The final moments before kickoff. And tonight, one of these 2 teams will be crowned national champion. Thanks for checking out the pregame show. NCAA college football action coming up next with Brad and Kirk on the call. David and I will see you at halftime.
Is one of the most storied legacies in the history of college football. I started my coaching career, I had a dream. And every decision that I made, that I will be the head football coach at Syracuse University. Undefeated, untied.
1959 national champions.
Syracuse has scored an undefeated season, and the team carries Ben Schwartzwalder off the field.
It's going to be the greatest victory that you kids have ever had.
Dozens of the most prolific and impactful players in the game. The first African American to win the Heisman Trophy. 6 members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. 53 All-America selections.
We need to make this place the hardest place to play in the country. We need you. We need everyone. This is our state, our town, our team, and we gotta win now. Go Orange!
Spanning more than 10 successful seasons and covering the country from California, Ohio, North Carolina, and Virginia. This is League 1 NCAA football.
Don't you let anyone steal history away from you.
Since 1889, this is Syracuse football.
The Orange win the coin toss and elect to defer. And Hofrichter puts the ball out the back of the end zone to force Wildcats to start on their own 25. It's 4 wide receivers, halfback left side, Means under center, and he is sacked. And it's a great start for the Orange defense.
Looking for another sack in this second down and long situation.
Still 4 wide receivers, this time the halfback on the right. Means has time under center. He scrambles out. He's met by the middle linebacker, Henderson Jr., who muscles him down after Means gets a 6-yard gain on the ground. And they skip the huddle and go right to 3rd and 12. They hand off to Brown on 3rd down, trying to catch the defense napping, and he does manage to get 5 yards, but that's not enough on 3rd and 12. And it's going to force a punt, and in fact a 3 and out on the first possession of the game for the Wildcats. The Orange defense taking care of business on the first possession. The 6-yard return by Schumacher will mean that the Orange start on their own 34-yard line.
So here comes the offense taking the field for the first time today.
They send 5 wide receivers onto the field, and it looks like a dime from the Wildcats. Tanuvasa sends it to Lofton. Quickly, he gets 3 yards and is tackled as the defender comes out of his zone. Second and 7 now. 4 wide receivers. Halfback flexed on the right. Ball on the left hash. The handoff is to Neal, the halfback. He runs forward and he gets 8 yards, dragging a defender with him for the last 2.5.
He took advantage of a powerful effort by his offensive line to turn that into a pretty big run.
And that gets first down on their own 44 for the Orange. Shotgun wide trips here. Tanuvasa waiting under center. He passes it to Neal. It's a 4-yard gain as he's immediately denked. Tanuvasa got the ball off just before the defense took him to the ground.
Which is okay. It keeps the yards to go a little bit more manageable.
It's now 2nd and 6.
From their own 48-yard line. Second down.
3 down linemen here against this shotgun normal halfback week, and 2 of them are bunched up right over the center as Tanuvasa keeps it on the read option, and one of the linebackers crashes down and stops him after a 1-yard gain. It's now 3rd and 5 on the 49.
Talking about national awards. From their own 49-yard line. Third down. They'll spread the field.
5 wide receivers once again, this time on 3rd and 5. It's 3 down linemen for the Wildcats. Tanuvasa runs out of, and he gets hit, and they call it a first down. He manages to get the ball over the line as he's tackled a foot short. That's great play there by Tommy Tanuvasa.
Another valuable first down.
It's 1st and 10. Ball on the 46.
3-3-5 here from the defense against the shotgun spread flex. Mo Neal takes the ball, and he's got a wide open gap as the offensive line managed to hold on to their defenders without holding them. It's a 9-yard gain for the Orange. Tanuvasa now comes out under center in the I. 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers for the defense. Handoff to Neal. He gets a glancing blow as his left tackle is pushed back into him, and it results in a 1-yard loss when another defender comes around to the speed bumped halfback. Three down linemen, but a lot of men in the box on 3rd and 2. It's a handoff to Neal, and they call that a 0-yard gain as Blake Gallagher, one of the excellent linebacking core, comes in for the tackle. Right in the middle of the field, they send out Hofrichter for a 55-yard field goal.
Syracuse could take the lead with this field goal.
It's up,
Kicks up.
and Hofrichter puts it right through for 3 points on a 55-yard field goal.
It's automatic, baby, and it feels good. And it feels so good. Good. And it feels so good.
And they can forget about returning this one. Syracuse looking right now like they've got all 3 phases working for them so far. Kirk.
Yep, it's early, but they are in control of this game. The defense seems to have a very good feel for what they're doing out there. The offense moved the ball down the field. Special teams, everything right now is really in sync for this team.
4 wide receivers, 3 of them on the left.
Know they can knock things up in a
Means under center and doesn't like anything, just throws it away. It's the first pass attempt so far this game, and it's incomplete. It's going to be 2nd and 10.
from their own 25-yard line. It's 2nd down.
Quarterback and halfback behind the center this time in a pistol, looks like. Brown to the outside, and it's a 6-yard gain by Jesse Brown. 3rd and 4, and once again, the Wildcats skip the huddle. They come out in an ace this time, or under center, I should say. And they hand off to Brown again, and they catch the defense off guard and get 14 yards. Means under center again. Another handoff to Brown. He breaks the first tackler and gets 7. Second and 3 now. And they go to the shotgun this time. Means has time in the pocket. Bowman out in the flat. And there's a flag on the play. Roughing the passer is going to give 15 extra yards on top of the first down. First and 10 now from the 24 against the 4 wide. Ball's on the left hash. And Means loses 7 yards on the sack.
So the sack makes this a 2nd and long.
And the Wildcats attempt a screen pass on 2nd and 17 and lose 5 yards. It's going to be 3rd and a mile.
This is the 8th play of this drive.
Ramon Bowman this time on the catch. It's 13 yards, but that's just about half of what they needed. It's going to force a field goal here, and they're going to try and tie the game with 54 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Allworth, deep in the end zone, decides to take it out and gets stopped at about the 13-yard line. .45 seconds remain. Shotgun split big from the Orange, 4-3 from the Wildcats. Tanuvasa holds on to it. He's out in space. And the defender comes off his blocker and stops it at a 3-yard gain as Tanuvasa tries to get outside.
From their own 16-yard line, 2nd down.
Shotgun ace here, 2 tight ends, 1 halfback on the right side of the quarterback. Lofton comes in motion from the left slot. He gets the pitch. He's surrounded by defense. He gets a 2-yard gain. But that was something out of nothing there as Tommy Tanduvasa was pursued by a bear. It's going to be 3rd and 5 now to begin the second quarter. Shotgun normal, halfback weak, 3 down lineman. And a safety who's tight in. Tanduvasa scrambling, chased by a lot of guys. And he ultimately loses a yard.
You'd be surprised to see the old coach get on his linemen to protect the quarterback a little bit better.
And Hochfrichter comes out to punt.
Brown is back to receive.
Award-winning punter. Now trying to affect field position as it goes to about the 22-yard line. Excellent punt by Hochfrichter. As it is once again the turn of the Orange defense.
This is the point in the game where you don't want to make any mistakes that give the other guys a reason to feel more confident going into halftime.
From the left hash, Means. And Champ Bailey does a great job to get a hand on it and make the deflection.
From their own 22-yard line, it's second down.
Not a problem at all, Blitzkrieg. Good to have you. I'm sure Coach Spectre appreciates the support as the Orange are now once again on 3rd and long, hoping to prevent a conversion. Means has a lot of time in the pocket. Jennings finds a space between his man coverage and the safety playing deep. Green flushes him from the pocket, and James has 3 yards for the touchdown. 3 yards of space, I should say, from his coverage.
He raises his season receiving yardage to 1,000.
It's really an impressive number, especially when you consider the defenses know the ball is going to be thrown his way.
And with that, the Wildcats take the lead.
And he adds the extra point. A 4-play, 77-yard drive, and it results in a touchdown.
Boy, that is scoring in a hurry. This offense looking more and more explosive.
It's like they're ready for the kick. He really got a hold of that kick.
Allworth, once again deep in the end zone, takes it out once again. This time he gets to the 20, the 30, and taken down at about the 34. Refs call it the 33-yard line, where the Orange will start their drive. 2 minutes, 34 seconds remain in the half. Sorry, 6 minutes, 34 seconds. We see a shotgun split big against a 4-3. Playing heavy in the box. And Metcalf catches the ball and then is hit hard, and it's dropped loose. 5 wide receivers against a $326. Tanuvasa scrambling out. He decides he doesn't like anything. His wide receivers give him some good run blocking, and he gets a 20-yard rush before he steps out of bounds. An incredible play by Gallagher there to grab the ball out of midair after it was dropped by the halfback who was hit. And Means dodges a couple of tackles, eventually gets tackled by the third man for a 3-yard gain after the recovered fumble, really is what it was. And now the Wildcats plus 20 turnover differential for the season. And Antrell Roll this time, the safety fading back into double coverage, gets his hand on it, preventing another deep touchdown to James on the left side. It's 3rd and 7 now.
Drops the interception. Boy, the offense caught a break there.
3rd down now, and they need to get it inside the 45.
3rd and 7 from the right hash. 4 wide receivers, halfback on the left. And the pressure forces a rush throw to Ramon Bowman, who gets 3 yards and falls. And that keeps him short of the marker and forces a punt from the Wildcats. A big defensive stop here from the Orange, forcing the punt from midfield. And it hits at the 3, it bounces into the end zone, getting the touchback. Tanavasa having great teamwork with himself tonight in the run and the pass. From their own 20, it's the shotgun split pick. Tanuvasa keeps it. He's running. He's outside, but he's being chased, and he gets a 15-yard gain before he's pushed out of bounds. On the left hash now, it's a shotgun Y trips. Tanuvasa leaves the pocket. He scrambles. And he gets out of bounds after 9 yards, and there's a little bit of extracurriculars from the defense.
It's 2nd down now. They're just a few feet away from that 1st down marker.
Tanuvasa coming out under center this time. 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers stacked behind them. Some audibles. As the play clock ticks down, Neal gets the handoff. And it's about a 5-yard gain. 1st and 10 now from their own 49. And coaching staff send the flex bone out onto the field. Tanuvasa under center, and it's a 2-yard pass to Mo Neal playing from the wing-back position on the right.
Well, here I think the quarterback needs to be a little bit more patient in the pocket. That way he can allow his receivers to get downfield a little bit before he throws it.
That would make sense if any of the receivers ran downfield on that play. 2nd and 8 now, but they are in Wildcat territory. Tommy Tanuvasa muscles through the last 3 yards, gets the first down. It's 1st and 10 from the 40 with 3:41 to go. Tanuvasa under center again in the flex bone. Metcalf comes in motion, and Tanuvasa escapes a tackle in the backfield and ultimately gets a 3-yard gain. That was a real escape artist job. The defender really almost had him wrapped up for a loss of 3. Second and 7 now, and the Orange come out 4 wide receivers and single back. They see a 3-man front. They hand it off to Mo Neal, who has solid run blocking. He gets 6 yards, 2 feet, 6 inches. It's going to be 3rd and inches now on the 30-yard line. Just over 2 minutes remaining in the half. As we see once again the I formation from the Orange and a 4-3 from the defense. Mo Neal gets good run blocking to get 4 yards and is stopped in the linebacking layer.
From the 26-yard line. First down.
Shotgun split offset here. It looks like a 3-4. Maybe even a 3-5, although I don't know what formation that would be. And the pitch is to Metcalf. And it's ultimately a 0-yard gain as the defense play both the handoff man, the pitch man, and the quarterback very tightly. 2nd and 10 now from the 26. Live clock in a minute 20.
And this is the 10th play of the drive.
Tanuvasa under center against a 4-3. From the left hash, just over a minute. And Tanuvasa scrambles out, but cannot scramble away far enough and is sacked for a loss of 9.
But after that play and that hit, really got to be wondering what kind of relationship this quarterback.
3rd and 19 now from the 35 and a half.
They'll spread the field here. Let's see what the defense does with a 5-wide outlook.
Tanuvasa scrambles. He throws it up, and Bullock deflects it into his own hands. And he gets hit out of bounds after a good gain. That was really an incredible play by the defender Bullock there, to deflect it and turn around and snatch it out of midair. And now with 27 seconds and 3 timeouts, Northwestern has a shot.
Northwestern is up a score.
Son of a bitch! Give me
lose a yard on the scramble.
Scrambling around. And he's taken down.
Gains a yard this time. It's going to be 3rd and 9. And Northwestern calls another timeout.
Here's 3rd and 9. Ball on the 33. He unloads it.
And Bradshaw, Scoop Bradshaw with a snatch to bring it back to 1-2. "13 seconds from their own 47. On the right hash. Tanuvasa under center. Mark Bavaro, 9 yards, out of bounds, 4 seconds off the clock. It's 9 seconds remaining in the half.
Situation here. 2nd down and 1.
2nd and 1 now. Tanuvasa under center again. And this time it's just thrown way out of bounds. 6 seconds and 3rd and 1.
Success with a particular player, they feel confident about a play's chances.
Syracuse just took their first.
Syracuse calls a timeout.
Short yardage situation here. It's 3rd and 1.
Once again, out in the eye. And Bavaro gets his hands on it, and it's hit out of him. A lot of hard hitting so far this game from the Wildcats. They're jarring balls loose. And it's a 61-yard attempt here from Hofrichter. And Syracuse elects to call a timeout.
So with the half ending, they're just going to try to put 3 points up on the board.
Hofrichter puts his leg through it. And it goes off the upright at 61 yards. It hit the crossbar dead center. Oh, just a heartbreaking miss at long distance for Hofrichter to go in to the half behind by 7 points.
On the EA Sports NCAA Football 14 halftime show presented by Nissan. Innovation that excites. Reese Davis, David Pollack here in the studio as always to lend a little perspective to what just went down in the first 30 minutes. Defense has been dominant in this game. Yards very hard to come by. But David, as we get deeper and deeper into this game, the natural assumption is that the pressure goes to the offense to do something. How much pressure is on the defense not to make that catastrophic mistake?
Yeah, you heard it here, folks.
It's definitely tough because you want to play perfect and you want to get them to punt every single time, but it's not the way it works. And it's those big plays that you usually see that kill the defenses and break their backs. And you can hold them great, Reese, on 1st down, 2nd down, it's 3rd and long. You're in a perfect situation. You give up that one play for 80, and it changes the whole complexion of the game. So I think you got to have a little bit of both. It can't just be great defense the whole time. Usually the teams that play great defense can keep you in it, but only for so long. At some point, that offense has to get something going.
I can only hope that Nessler and Herbstreit will bring the same type of intensity to their call of the second half that David and I have brought to the halftime show. Of course, they always do. That's it for us here in the studio. Time to get you back out to the guys for the second half.
a quick look at some of your halftime stats here. As you can see, the score is 10-3 in favor of Northwestern Wildcats. They only have 3 first downs, but they have more yards of total offense by 14. Now, the bulk of Syracuse's offense is on those 19 rushes for 90, whereas the bulk of Northwestern's offense is 6 completions for 96. Both teams 2 for 6 on third down. As you can see, this is a defensive game here in the national championship. Turnovers are 1-2 in the favor of Northwestern. Some excellent return yards are bolstering the total yards for Syracuse, but they have yet to be able to turn those into more than 3 points. 2 punts for Northwestern and 1 for the Orange, again emphasizing the impact of defense in this game. Time of possession is 4:47 to 11:13. Long drives for Syracuse, but they haven't ended in points. Tommy Tanuvasa has a double-digit quarterback rating. He's 4 for 19 for 18 yards and 2 picks. It's 44% for 4.5 yard average, 2 sacks. This is by far his worst performance passing of his college career. Northwestern, on the other hand, Jesse Means is better, but a 153.6, 6 for 10 for 96 for 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 60%, and a 16-yard average isn't great either. On the ground, Means is 6 for -6. He's been sacked 3 times and scrambled for no gain and losses on the other 2. Brown, on the other hand, is 5 for 32. He's got a long of 14, but the average is 6. He's broken a couple, but not enough. The ground is where Syracuse is getting their effective game in. Tanuvasa has 10 runs for 56 yards, and Mo Neal has 7 for 32. Through the air, Neal is 2 for 6, and Lofton 1 for 3, Bavaro 1 for 9. As you can see, 3 drops there. One of those drops was picked off by the defense. On the other side, Northwestern, Bowman is 3 for 25, but big gains to both James for the touchdown and Jennings are what are keeping Northwestern in the lead so far. Defensively, tackles for loss for Whitlock and Gatlin, and the interceptions by Gallagher and Bullock, both off of deflections. Gallagher from a pass that was dropped, and Bullock from a ball he deflected and turned around, then picked off. For the Orange, defensively, Green and Henderson Jr., as usual, doing the bulk of the work. Scoop Bradshaw coming in and getting the pick late in the second quarter. Indeed, Blitzkrieg, this is kind of reminding us of the last night's game between the Packers and the Bears. A lot of good defense, not so much great offense, which is actually surprising from both of these teams. Both of these teams have had stellar offenses so far this year. So we will see what happens in the second half as we resume shortly.
Welcome back, everybody. Second half action about to begin. He sends this one deep.
Tenuvasa scrambles out, makes it 17 yards downfield before stepping out of bounds.
From their own 29-yard line, it's first down.
Shotgun ace here. Lofton comes in motion from left to right. And the pitch is to Lofton, and he dodges the safety. And he's chased down after a 22-yard gain by the wide receiver Lofton coming in motion on the option. And that crosses into Wildcat territory, the first drive of the second half. And a great heads-up play by Tenuvasa to turn upfield and then cut and then turn and get some good run blocking to get 11 yards there. Great running lane gives Mo Neal 12 yards on first down. First and 10 now from the 26. Play action doesn't fool the defense, and Tommy Tenuvasa is caught between two ends. Loses 8 yards on the sack. Second and 18 now, and Allworth in the right slot is wide open. Gets 18 yards and a first down. Perfect route for the defensive positioning there. He was tackled afterwards, but was wide open for the catch. First and 10 now from the 15. This might be the first time that the Orange have been in the red zone so far tonight. Handoff to Neal. He gets met by some safeties after a 5-yard gain. Shotgun wide trips against a 3-3-5. Mo Neal comes out of the backfield, catches it and holds on to it this time for a 6-yard gain. It's now 1st and goal from the 4.
Because they tend to wear down the defense over the course of a game, especially when they get you a first down and keep the offense on the field.
It was a great read by the
5 wide receivers against a dime formation from the 4-yard line. Tanuvasa scrambles, and he's met just after the play, and he leans forward into the tackler for the touchdown.
Powerful push by the line and a really nice run.
And with that, Tommy Tanuvasa has tied the ball game. It's 10-10, 4:45 here in the third. And the Wildcats continue to come out. 4 wide receivers. This time it's a pass to Jesse Brown. He gets 14 yards on the wheel route to the left. And they continue to hurry up. Means 8 yards to Ramad Bowman, the number 1 receiver, or should I say he's got the most catches this game of any of the Wildcats player. It's James with the most yards. And the hurry up causes a bit of a jump. It allows Syracuse to go to the huddle and makes it 2nd and 7 instead of 2nd and short. You get no argument from the orange sideline about that one.
It's 2nd and 7. Ball on their own 42.
The 4-3 this time against the ace. And James snatches the ball out of midair for a 10-yard gain. And with the no huddle, and Bowman catches it, gets 10 yards, and they call it another first. And they continue the no huddle. James, a 6-yard catch on the in route, makes it 2nd and 4.
And the quarterback did a good job of hitting him in stride to pick up a few yards.
4 wide receivers, shotgun. It's a handoff to Brown this time. And they catch him in the backfield for a loss of 2 to make it 3rd and 6. And it also gives the Orange a chance to go to the huddle.
Third down, and they need to get it to the 28.
4 wide receivers, 3 of them on the left. Quarter defense here on 3rd and 6. Means throws it into double coverage, and Champ Bailey comes up with the big pick.
First and 10. Ball on the 29-yard line.
Huge play there. Now they come out in the Y trips from the left hash, their own 29-yard line. Tenuvasa keeps the ball. He's got great running room. He's got one man to beat, but the safety takes him to the ground after a big gain. How many yards was it? Not 30, not 40. Huge gain there by Tommy Tenuvasa. Puts him over 100 and moves Syracuse from their own 29 into enemy territory. So I could do some math there. About 24 yards. And Lofton, once again, the middle of the field, deep, uncovered. 28-yard pass to James Lofton out of the right slot, wide open between the coverages. Just his second catch of the game. It's very little production for someone who is such a key member of this offense. But it moves the Orange to the red zone for the second time this game. 2 bang-bang plays. Hand off to Mo Neal. A big gap, 7 yards to get to 2nd and 3.
They come out in an empty backfield.
Lofton on the drag route. Tons of space because of the linebacker blitz. He turns a 2-yard gain into a 13-yard touchdown.
By the power of Grayskull.
He's been quiet so far this game, but he just moved the Orange the last 48 yards into Pater.
Cringer became the mighty Battle Cat, and I became He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. Only 3 others share this secret.
Syracuse is ready to kick it away. Sends it sailing downfield. And they can forget about
Hofrichter with the rogue.
I think these coaches love to coach a guy like this, and another great performance by him individually and for this offense.
Their last drive ended with an interception. We're about to find out what the defense can do this time.
The first rule on offense.
The 2 wide receivers on the left, they're bunched up this time. As Green comes through. And Jesse Means gets the ball off just as he is hit.
He got away with one right there. He's very fortunate. Next time he should just throw it away out of bounds.
So it's 2nd and 10. Ball on the 25-yard line.
And this time he comes through for the sack. Means can't get the ball away. It's going to be 3rd and 17.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
He guns it left side.
Green with time in the pocket gets to Lees, who is a couple of steps on his defender. Only his first catch of the game, but it's a big one to escape 3rd and very long.
Now he's scrambling.
And Means doesn't like his looks. He scrambles out and is stopped after a gain of only a yard. Hand off to Brown in the backfield. He dodges a blocker. He gets a 12-yard gain. And now in orange territory. Means again with time. Henderson there waiting. Stops him at a 0-yard gain. But Wildcats continue with the no huddle. Another handoff to Brown. And he's just getting outside of those defenders and getting good yards.
There was some movement along the line. Let's get the call.
And looks like a penalty there. Takes a penalty and sends a new defense out onto the field.
From the 26-yard line. First down.
And it turns out to be a smart play as they come through on the sack. Make it 2nd and 12. Recover those penalty yards.
This is the 9th play of this drive.
And another sack moves him back again. This is 3rd and 19. Another big 3rd down situation. And Riley Leagues goes up and gets his 2nd catch of the game in double coverage. And that's a huge play to be 1st and goal from the 3 now. And with this extra point, we're going to see a tie ball game once again.
Tied with the extra point. And he converts the extra point. And it looks like they're ready for the kickoff.
Allworth once again in the end zone. He gets to the 20, the 30. Gets to about the 34-yard line. Excellent field position. 7 seconds left in the 3rd. Five wide receivers against $1. 3-2-6. Tanuvasa scrambles out. There's a defender waiting for him out in the flat, but he gets 10 yards before he gets to him. It's 2nd and inches now to begin the 4th quarter. And the handoff to the fullback, Tyrell Richards, converts on 3rd and inches to move the ball into Wildcat territory. Tommy Tanavasa scrambling out and throwing the ball away on 1st down. It's now 2nd and 10. And they stay with 5 wide receivers. Allworth coming on the slant gets 5 yards to make it 3rd and 5. And a wide open left flat lets Tommy Tanavasa get 18 yards on 3rd and 5. It's his 17th rush of the game. He's got a 7.7 yard average and has really been the 1st and 2nd gear of this team. They've had 3rd and 4th and 5th every once in a while, but they've had to be in 2nd most of the game, and that's been on the feet of Tommy Tanavasa. As they now hand off to Mo Neal on 1st down, he gets a 6-yard gain.
This is the 8th play of this drive.
Second and 4 now. This is a shotgun Y trips from the left hash. Tanavasa scrambles. He's got space. He's got run blocking in space. Once again, 15 yards and 1st and goal now from probably about the 3.5. They call it the 4. And they stay 5 wide receivers, Against 4 down linemen here on the 4-yard line. Lofton on the drag, catches it, and just slips around the defender.
Do it now. I told you, do it now. Let's go.
And with that, Syracuse are back to a 1-touchdown lead. And the defense will go back out onto the field after this kickoff. 5:59 remain in the game. Northwestern down by 1 score. Sticking with the same personnel package all game, 4 wide receivers and a single halfback. It's what they know and love at Northwestern.
Things aren't tied, but they might as well be. It's this drive that could really dictate the tone for the last quarter.
Pistol this time. Handoff to Brown. He's slowed down, and it's a tackle for loss on 1st down. Second and 11 now. Wildcats on their own 24-yard line. Another handoff to Brown. That's a good broken tackle. He gets 8 yards, but is stopped short. It's 3rd and 3 now. And Bowman, this time, gets a 10-yard catch and the 5-yard out. Northwestern once again skipping the huddle. Snapping quickly. They throw it up. And Lees, with another big catch, moves the ball 45 yards downfield. 3 catches, 107 yards. You're probably right about that, Declan, but this is the league we have. This is our 15th season. We've built these teams. We've built these rosters. We're going to stick with NCAA as long as it still exists. And, it's... this is a multiplayer dynasty with a bunch of people who are really good friends, and so it's not really about the views, but we appreciate your view. We're glad to have you here with us for the national championship game between Syracuse and Northwestern. As now on 3rd and 2, the Wildcats are on the 5-yard line. Still 4 wide receivers, 3 of them on the left side. Ball's on the right hash. It's a pitch to Brown. And he's got space for the 5-yard touchdown, score of the game. To tie the game. Excuse me. 4:22 remain.
They'll line up for the extra point in an attempt to tie the game.
And we are tied at 24s.
A 7-play, 75-yard drive, and a touchdown as a result.
Schumacher this time with the kick return. I believe it's the first kick return this game that Schumacher's gotten. He's got space, but there was a pretty blatant block in the back that we do see the flag on. And that's clipping. It's going to start him on their own 10 from a senior. That's a pretty... Coach is going to be pretty mad about that one. You got to believe, because really, that was not needed. There were 2 pancake blocks on that side, and that was just sloppy play there. First and 10 now from their own 10 because of the penalty. It's a handoff to Neal. He's got space. He's in the second layer. It's a 16-yard rush. Starts the clock moving. Just over 4 minutes. And Tanuvasa now under center in the flex bone. Looks like a 3-4 defense. Metcalf comes in motion. Tanuvasa gets a 1-yard gain. That's a 1-yard gain. 2nd and 9 now from their own 28. Tanuvasa scrambling. He loops back around. Gets 8 yards, and they call it 3rd and inches. as his run blocker and the defender are there waiting for him. Third and inches here. Tainuvasa in a heavy formation against a 3-4. Handoff is to Mo Neal. And that's a big gain. 10 yards when they needed 10 inches. It's a good play there by Mo Neal and great run blocking there by the offensive line. Really just to collapse that left side. On the paint in the middle, and they come out in the wide trips against a 3-3-5 defense. And they hand off to Neal. Looks like that was probably an audible, but he gets 7 yards. Definitely the right call to abort and go to the run play. Gets 7 yards on first down and cross midfield. First and 10 with a live clock from the 40-yard line. 5 wide receivers against 3-man front. Lofton on the drag route. He gets an 8-yard gain to make it second and short. Every coach's favorite down and distance. The clock is live, just over a minute. Ball is on the 33-yard line and the left hash. Shotgun, wide trips. Handoff to Neal, and he loses a yard to make it 3rd and 2. Both teams with 3 timeouts, neither calling one. On 3rd and 2 from the 33. Eye tight this time. 2 tight ends, fullback and a halfback. Tainuvasa under center. Bavaro, 5-yard drag route from left to right. That completes the first down. It's 1st and 10 now from the 28 with a live clock and under 30 seconds. Syracuse calls a timeout at 22. First and 10 now from the 28. They come out in a shotgun flex. 4 wide receivers, halfback on the right, just behind the quarterback. Mo Neal, lots of space, moves it into the middle of the field. Gets a 6-yard gain, starts the clock moving. And looks like, yes, they're hustling Hoff-Richter and the kicking team onto the field for the 39-yard field goal. Under a live clock situation. And he got it. And that's game, ladies and gentlemen, at 0-0-0, 27-24, Syracuse. That was a damn good football team, and they were in it really until the very end. And in fact, I would say important stat here. I believe that in the first half, there were more interceptions by the Wildcats and drops by Syracuse than there were completions by Syracuse. Kevin Green definitely deserving of player of the game. 5 sacks against a fantastic offensive line and a fantastic team in the Northwestern Wildcats. Number of big plays there for Northwestern, as you can see, but it was defense on both sides that was dominant in this game, and both teams' offenses figured out a couple of things that worked, and this is the first time that any team has held Syracuse under 40, let alone 30, this entire season. So that's a fantastic job by a combination of speed at corner, great defensive ends, and incredible linebackers who really just know how to get the ball. Like, this is a team that had 19 turnovers, plus 19 for the season. They finished the season plus 20. They managed to get 2 takeaways from a team that was plus 8 themselves. So just they finished plus 19 because it's 2-2. Evened it up there in the second half, but just a fantastic game, really, from both teams. And an impressive 27-24 squeaker of a game. Only 105, less than 150 yards passing for the Orange. But 290 on the ground, that's really where they had to get it. So thanks for joining us for this national championship game. It was the first of our doubleheader. Yeah, absolutely, a dominant time of possession as well. We will resume shortly. Well, okay, so not only is that decent, his quarterback rating at halftime was 13.2. That's, yeah. No, absolutely. You opened it up in the second half and you were so absolutely, it was a big change. Halftime adjustments decided to open up the game, and it showed, and Tanuvasa motored down the field, and that's a big difference between the first and second halves, and that's the key to winning this football game. That was a fantastic game. Thanks for joining us. We'll resume shortly with the New Mexico Bowl of Navy against Penn State. Stick around. The score of the first game was 27-24. Looks like Xbox Live is having some issues, so if it doesn't work, essentially immediately on this attempt that is currently trying and failing, we're going to take the stream down and come back. Yeah, so we're going to try again in 15 minutes. But for now, I'm gonna take the stream down, and we'll come back in 15, hopefully with a working Xbox Live and an ability to play Navy versus Penn State. We will keep you posted. Yeah, no, that's exactly what I like. Live works if you're already signed in, but if you're not signed in, that's the thing that isn't working right now is signing in. So that of course screws us as we need to sign in with my account to play my game. So we'll come back in 15 minutes and give this another shot. Thanks for joining us for Game 1. We hope to see you soon for Game 2.